All the economy has its own problem. In economics, this is called as central economic problem. So what is central economic problem? There are three questions which raises a doubt to an economy is called the central economic problem. What are those questions? What to produce, how to produce, to whom to produce. So these three questions are majorly called as the central economic problem, irrespective of the nature of that economy. Apart from this question, we have one more question which is called as how much to produce. How much to produce. So what to produce, how to produce, to whom to produce is a central economic problem. And the next question comes to the mind if you find solution for all these questions, then immediately comes to the mind is how much to produce. Greetings to all of you. Today we are going to discuss about the theory of demand. So before getting into the theory of demand, it is our basic necessity to understand what is demand is, what demand constitutes. In a general understanding, what is demand is, there are three different conditions which want to be satisfied by the demand factor. What are those three conditions? Desire, decision, and purchasing power. Demand constitutes desire, decision, and purchasing power or ability to pay. If any one of these three components are missing, then that does not constitute to demand. So desire, decision, and purchasing power. So I have a desire. I decided to buy, but any product. I decided to buy, but I have no capacity to pay for it. That does not constitute demand. Why? Because the purchasing power is missing over there. And I have a capacity to pay and I have desire to buy, but I don't want now. I'm not taking a decision to buy it right now. I can postpone it. Here the missing factor is decision. Then that is also not constitutes to the demand. By the same time, I have a decision, I have the ability to pay, but I am not having any desire to buy the particular product. That is also not constitute demand. So in precise, the demand mandatorily requires three basic conditions to satisfy, which is called as desire, decision, and purchasing power. A simple definition is here to understand the demand in a better manner. Demand is an economic principle referring to a consumer's desire to purchase goods and services, willingness to pay a price for specific goods. So this is what the demand. So what are all the factors that constitutes the demand? There are n number of factors which constitutes the demand. You can input anything which affects the demand in this particular context. So basically, these are all the points which majorly constitutes to the factors of demand. The first one is price of product or service. Very mandatorily, we are going to discuss in this entire chapter about this price and product or demand relationships. So the first factor which influences most is price of the product. It is not only the price of the product, price of the substitute product, price of the complementary product, and such more and more alternatives are there that we want to consider those prices as well. So the next one, income of the particular consumer. Income of the particular consumer. So income of the consumer plays an important role to decide the demanding factor. Why? Because the three components consist of ability to pay. Suppose if we have a good income earning consumer, obviously the third factor will be most influencing factor for those people. Why? Because the income is a major component where it constitutes to meet your demand. And the third one, taste preferences and taste preferences of consumers. This depends upon the individual taste preferences, taste. It depends upon different variable factors. Price of related goods, as I told in the first point, the price of the commodity or goods. This, this will also be considered the price of relative goods. Expectations of consumers, what they are expecting. And this is a psychological factor where the expectation want to meet with all other needs. So expectation plays an important role. Effects of advertisement, yes, of course, in a costing point of view, cost accounting point of view, and the part of company's point of view, the cost and effect of advertisement plays an important role to affect the demand. So more and more, the factor which is coming to your mind to induce you to buy is for advertisement. So advertisement plays an important role to moving towards the demand. Distribution of income towards the society. This is a macroeconomic factor which depends upon the distribution of income towards the citizens of the country. And we are not expecting that the income want to be distributed equally to all the citizens, because there are conditions where there is an inequality in the distribution prevails even now. Growth of population, government policies, climatic conditions, demographic factors, anything we can include seasons. Depend upon the seasons, the demand will vary. So depending on the factor which affects the demand, you can include all the factors to this factor which constitutes the demand. So next, we are moving with the important factor or important theory, which is called as law of demand, which is proposed by Alfred Marshall in his book Principles of Economics 1890. Very simple, very effective, and very important theory as far as economics is concerned. And this theory is a driving force even till today. You may ask a question. The theory was propelled in 1890. Even today, is it a valid theory? Yes, of course. There is no doubt about that. This is a valid theory till today. What is the theory is all about? The greater the amount to be sold, the smaller must be the price at which it is offered in order that it may find a purchaser. Or in other words, the amount demanded increase with a fall in price and diminishing with a rise in price. The last point is very much important, which directly constitutes towards the law of demand. In a simple words, I'd like to explain to you this is when price increases, demand will decrease. When price decreases, demand will increase. With a small assumption that except the price, everything remains constant. Everything in the sense, everything, taste, preferences, income, quantity of buying, quality of buying, everything remains constant except price. Then this theory will be more effective for your better understanding. The law of demand states that the quantity demanded of a good shows an inverse relationship with the price of goods when other factors held constant. That is what we call a citrus variable. That is nothing but an assumption. So, keeping remaining all the things constant, only the prices are changing, what happens to the demand? Here, there is a beautiful relationship which is establishing between the price and quantity demand. What is that relationship? It is an inverse relationship. When price increases, quantity demand will decrease. When price decreases, quantity demand will increase. So there is an inverse relationship between price and quantity demand. Provided except price, everything remains constant. So this law of demand is a very simple theory. We can explain through with a demand schedule and demand diagram. It is easy for us to understand with the diagrammatical representation with demand schedule. Demand schedule is nothing but a schedule which portrays quantity demand and price. In the price column, price may increase or decrease. By the same time, the effect of the price which will be reflected in quantity demand. You will see that. So this is an internet copied diagram where the demand schedule price per unit is given, quantity demanded units are given. When price is 10 rupees, the quantity demand is 50 units. You may fix anything for the matter of this demand schedule. And price has gone down to 8 rupees, the demand is increasing to 60. When price further falls to 6 rupees, the demand is increasing to 70 units. And further fall for 4 rupees, the demand increases to 80. And last, it landed up with 2 rupees. The demand constitutes 90 units. By the same time, you can go from downward up. When price is 2, the quantity demand is 90. There is a slight variation, increase in price, it ups to 4 rupees, then quantity demand is 80. From 90 to reduced to 80. Again, further movement of price, which goes from 4 rupees to 6 rupees. The demand falls from 80 units to 70. So this is a diagrammatical representation with a y-axis of price represented by rupees and x-axis of quantity demanded. The demand curve always slopes downwards. You may ask a question, why demand curve slopes downwards? There is another theory, what we call the law of diminishing marginal utility. In that theory, we will discuss why this demand curve slopes downwards. Okay. So for the better understanding, whenever the price increases, the quantity demand will decrease. Whenever the price decreases, quantity demand will increase. That is what the simple concept, simple relationship between price and quantity demand, which is established by the law of demand. You may ask a question here, sir, is this theory applicable to all the goods? Is there any exemption or other way? Yes, of course, your question is right. And all the theories will have an assumption as well as exemption. By the same time, the law of demand is also having an exemption. What are all those exemptions? The Robert Given, he is a Scottish economist, is propelled exemption to the law of demand, which constitutes the basic goods, which is most required to the citizens. If the price of goods rises, if the basic price of goods are raised, the quantity demand will not decrease. For example, rice or wheat or bread. By the same time, Stop Appeal or Veblen. Veblen is a person, author, who is giving a goods, what we call as Veblen goods. That is nothing but a luxurious goods. Luxurious goods. And at this time, I would able to remember the potato famine, which happened in Irish. We will discuss the case with a live example. We will discuss in class. There we can able to understand that luxurious goods will not comes under the category of law of demand. And the third thing, what we call the speculative goods, the future price expected goods, shares, debentures, bullion, gold, silver, currencies, foreign currencies. So it comes under speculative goods. So it is not confined with only these three exemptions. There are a lot more exemptions are also there, like a habitual goods, and the list goes on. But in detail, we will discuss in the class. So today, in our discussion, we come to know that what is demand, what are all the factors affecting demand, what is law of demand, what are the assumptions of law of demand, demand schedule, diagrammatical representation of demand, and exemptions of demand. In this discussion, you may have a question that, sir, if price increases, demand will decrease. If price decreases, demand will increase. Is there any mechanism to quantify how much price increases, how much, because of which how much demand increases? Is there any mechanism to quantify this? Stay tuned. In the next video, we will discuss all those stuff. Thank you.